dreamers, welcome back to my channel Roses Star and Books. I know my lighting is non-existent. It's very dark, but I like my house to be dark, so that's why I'm not about to open up my windows and stuff right now. I just wanted to come on here to rant about a book that I've been reading for the day, which is Office Hate by Rachel Van Dyken. I think that's how they pronounce her name. First of all, when I picked this book in the Kindle Unlimited selection, I saw that it was enemies to lovers. I love enemies to lovers trope. I enjoy that sort of trope, but like upon reading this, it didn't really feel that way. And the next thing is that office love expect to be fully about an office romance, but it's not really much of that. So I'm really wondering, like, okay, why give it that name? Why market it as such? And it's not really about those things. Like, really and truly, I'm very disappointed. Not to say that I'm not enjoying the book, but like, when you read something and you expect one thing and it's a next thing, especially if it's like exactly what they marketed, you read about it and you're like, okay, I'm gonna read this because I love hate enemies to lovers books and etc., and it's not about those things. Like, it's misleading people, and I don't like that. First off, I wouldn't say this is enemies to lovers. It seems more of like wanting to hate that person but not really hating that person. Is actually the main characters actually like each other, but they just banter and want to appear to one another that they hate each other. And okay, like, the idea and the trope wasn't really fleshed out. I'm not finished with the book, mind you. I'm only, could say, 60% in the book, so I'm almost finished. I'm like on a page 101 out of 160 something pages, so I have 60 something more pages to go. But like, I don't know, like, I need what I need to read what they told me was promised, if that makes sense. So yeah, like, they just want to hate each other, but they don't really hate each other. Because in the beginning, okay, I read it, okay, I'm thinking that I'm gonna get an office romance and it means to lovers from the first chapter. But then the second chapter and the third chapter comes along, and I'm like, how did we switch from this to this? Because first they were supposed to be able to work in the office. I am, but for this big company, and that didn't happen. They end up working different places at different dealerships, and then after the whole getting fired from their dealership, mind you, they got fired, both of them, on the same day. Well, one was fired, the next one, like, she kind of quit, walked out because like the boss was coming on to her. But you could essentially say they both lost their jobs on the same exact day, within the same exact hour. Okay. And then they went out to a bar. They didn't want to go together, but like more like he drove off to the bar first and she drove off after, and they end up hooking up and whatever. And that hookup was so weird. Like that hookup was so weird. Like her being in his apartment and how the initial sexual scene happened. It was so weird. And I couldn't even imagine it because one, the descriptions, I didn't really think that it was fully enough descriptive for me to imagine such a scene. So probably that's why I'm thinking that that scene was weird because the description was like non-existent in a way. There were descriptions, but the descriptions didn't really make me imagine that scene vividly and everything like that. So, and I know this, I need to put like a spoiler warning on here because I think this is spoiling a lot about the book, but I just need to rant. Like, I haven't been able to rant about the book in so long, so I just need to rant. Then, well, they got this text saying that both of them were going to get you with an internship or whatever for the company, for this big company. Go there, like, they have to be, they selected both of them out of the 12. And internship, I'm expecting um doing office work, these sort of things, but they're like in some kind of reality TV show, some games they're playing. Basically they're playing games, and it's like it's so weird. Yes, this is a romantic comedy, so I should just think that they should just market it as a romantic comedy and not like office love or these sort of things, because technically it's not really about those things. It's just weird. Like the whole book is just weird. I mean, I am enjoying it to an extent, but I do really wish that there were more descriptions, especially with certain scenes that I want to be able to imagine certain things. And with these lack of vivid descriptions, I'm not able to imagine those things. So, so far, this book is like a 2.5, 3 stars in my mind, and it's almost over. So I don't think that it will actually go up because for me, is the book is lacking a real plot line for me, and actual motive for these two to be enemies. Like they're enemies in her mind. They're enemies because why? At a party, she tripped and he stepped over her with this next girl or whatever, like some weird shit like that. And I'm like, okay, like, okay. Like she expected him to help her up or whatever, and that didn't happen. So he's the enemy. It's just weird. Like, it's just weird. But I just think that's all that I have to say. This book, like, if you're just looking for a light-hearted book, I would recommend reading this. But if you really want like a serious book where you actually want to read a office romance slash enemies to lovers, I don't think that's here. I don't think that this book is for you. So yeah, the writing, I would say, super easy to get by, and yeah, that's it. So I think that's all that I have to rant about. Yeah, and I will be giving this book 2.5 stars, or round it off to 3 stars. Yeah, that's all. So thank you for listening to me rant, and I shall see you guys next time. Bye.